It's important to learn more about your rights as a Kenyan citizen, and it's also important to know how you can be in solidarity with other queer people. My name is Kenne. I'm a queer human rights lawyer and public policy specialist. My friends call me Kenne, and this is the Breakout series by Galk Plus. Being queer is not illegal in Kenya. We have laws in our country which criminalize certain sexual acts, and this includes adult, private, and consensual same-sex conduct. But in Kenya, being queer is not illegal. So under Article 27, Sub-Article 4 of the Kenyan Constitution, all forms of discrimination are outlawed, and this includes discriminating against the queer community for any reason. My advice to the queer community is every time you get into a rental agreement, please ensure that it's in writing and that it has clear rules on how to engage. If your landlord is trying to restrict certain activities in your household, my advice would be to look for other housing options. But if they're trying to evict you on the basis that you're a queer person, then that's totally illegal. And my advice again would be to try and reach out to queer rights organizations who can help you navigate that particular challenge. Blackmailing and extortion in the queer community is something that's on the rise, and it's been rising over the past 10 years. This is totally illegal under Kenya's laws, but the criminal laws themselves are rarely enforced. And we are also worryingly seeing a rise in the involvement of law enforcement officials in blackmail and extortion against members of the queer community. One of the ways to fight blackmailers and extortionists in our society is to keep each other abreast. Like when we go through cases of blackmail and extortion, it's good to come out publicly and identify the people who are actually blackmailing and extorting you, so that other people can know in advance to avoid these people. We've seen that the Kenya Film Classification Board has been more restrictive towards the showing of queer-themed content in the country. And this has included content that has been produced in Kenya. So far, I think we've seen about 3 films which have been produced in the country outrightly banned by the Kenya Film Classification Board. I have argued in the past that the films that have been banned by the Kenya Film Classification Board for having queer-themed content have not violated any laws like around hate speech or propaganda for war, or kind of like incitement to violence and hatred, and so they should not be banned. Personally, I believe that the Kenya Film Classification Board is just not fit for purpose and it needs to be abolished, and we need to come up with a new way to regulate film content in Kenya that doesn't involve banning the film outright. You find that members of the queer community face a lot of hardship when they're trying to access employment. So members of the queer community will be discriminated against at the recruitment process. They'll be discriminated against during day-to-day employment, and they are more likely to face disciplinary action and even eventually be fired. Article 27, Sub-Article 4 outlaws all forms of discrimination, and in the past the Kenyan High Court has ruled that discriminating on the grounds of sexual orientation and gender identity is illegal. In the case where a queer person feels like the employer discriminated against them on grounds of their sexual orientation, my advice again is to do your best and reach out to queer rights organizations who can provide you with legal advice and next steps. You are a Kenyan citizen, you're in Kenya and you're protected under Kenyan laws. Even if you're not a citizen of Kenya, you're still protected under the Constitution when you're in Kenya, and that means that there are certain things that the state or private individuals can't do against you. They can't discriminate against you, they can't torture you, they can't kill you, and I feel like it is time for us as a queer community in Kenya to start being more assertive about our rights.